Now we're going to try to show you how to cast the foot in the office. I've taken 2 casts on my casting table, which was a lot easier for the cameraman to show you. And Mark now is going to demonstrate how to cast my foot in neutral, which is the way you'd be doing it in the office, where the patient's sitting in a chair.
Now there are 2 ways to cast the foot. One is straight out of the box, which we're going to demonstrate first. And we put the box on the floor, and we'll move the foot around in a clockwise and counterclockwise position to show pronation and supination. The second way to cast is with a device called a rotator, which takes every bit of effort out of the procedure. It makes it incredibly simple. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is with the
It also makes it very simple. I invented it so foot doctors who are in multiple offices, sometimes they rent a space in a doctor's office, a chiropractor's office, and you want to use one of the staff members, you could train somebody in about 10 minutes to find neutral with the rotator. It's a lot easier.
Okay, so the foam box goes right between the patient's feet, and
We're going to use the left one for this demonstration. And before we start, I made a finger mark in here just to show that the whole idea is this foam, the foot can slide all the way to one side and all the way to the other. So as Mark demonstrates, to hold the navicular talus joint in the proper place as you're pushing it down, you're also using it to steer it straight down so you don't go to the left or to the right in the foam. And this method is based upon 3 years of me casting people with plaster. I was partners with a podiatrist, and all these angles are the same angles that a podiatrist would use, holding your foot in midair, turning the ankle in and out, setting your foot at 90 degrees, waiting for the plaster to dry, and then he puts it in a box, and we get just as many bad plaster casts coming in, if they take it bad, and just as many good ones. Same with foam. Foam is reliable if it's done correctly. Now Mark's going to show you how to cast my left foot. Now bear with us because he's going to try to stay to the side, which is awkward, but we're planting my foot in the middle, and I'm just relaxing it. Mark, just get you can get more in the front so you can turn the box.
Okay, so in this position, the patient's foot just resting, just gently resting on the foam. He's not putting any pressure down. I will eventually come up here and guide the foot into position, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to hold the navicular bone and talus right in place, and we're going to try and rotate.
I'll hold it right there because this is a very important thing for staff. He's putting his thumb right between the inner space of the navicular talus joint. Because as my foot is pronating, the talus is jutting out. Mr. Cameraman, can you get me the bones, please? Okay. This is George. He didn't pay me for an orthotic, so I cut his foot off. But as you can see, it's a right foot, and he has his thumb right here in this inner space. As the foot falls down, the navicular bone tends to fall in, and he's feeling that with his thumb over here. And as he brings the foot back to neutral, these lock in place, and that's neutral. Now, if he goes too far, then the talus sticks out against his thumb. So by turning the box, you're actually turning the ankle assembly in and out until he feels where all these bones get together.
Now, when we turn the box counterclockwise, the foot is pronating further down into the foam. When we turn it into this position, a clockwise movement with the left foot, now you can see the foot came up into the proper subtalar neutral position. The ankle and the navicular bone are really locked solid in place. We can hold this bone and this foot in position just by the rotation of the box. At this point, I come right over perpendicular to the floor, up with my right hand on his left knee. I'm holding the talus and the navicular bone in place.
And this is very, very important, so I'm stopping Mark, is that too many doctors push the instep down with 70% pressure, which creates, pushing the heel down to the bottom of the box, creates the instep to stay up in the air. So the trick is, Mark's only going to push 25%, 30% on the knee while he's pushing with his two fingers. And notice the palm of his hand is not on the instep. He keeps it up off the air. So 30% is steering it straight down and locking it. So go ahead, Mark. There you go. And it's very simple. At this point, you notice the forefoot has still maintained its varus deformity, as you can see in the box. Now Mark's going to place the palm of his hand
Across the metatarsals.
across the metatarsals. Now, if your hand is smaller than Mr. Bigfoot, you must incorporate the fifth with your hand, because as he's pushing the heads down, the fifth, he's going to go down, down, down until the fifth hits the bottom of the box. And do not roll your hand across the heads, or you're going to destroy the varus deformity.
So we've got that done.
Now it's
The
going
foot's in position, and now I'm just going to gently push each toe into the foam box. And we're all set.
and then he's going to lift this up, close the lid,
First we'll demonstrate what the,
and let me
what the
turn
arch-
let me turn this box around. And very important,
And you can see the arch that's made right here with the proper positioning of the box.
and the next thing is, as soon as you do this foot, give me a business card or a pen. Here's the biggest mistake we get. Take a pen, take a pencil, put it down as you saw me in the other movies, and if you notice, Mark got the heel to the bottom of the box. It's this deep. I'm using it as a measurement. The fifth over here is the same distance down. Now, if you accidentally, while you're learning, see the pen is this high, and you're looking and the first metatarsal's about here, the patient doesn't know you made a mistake. At this point, Mark or you can put the foam down, gently put my foot into the box, turn it clockwise, counterclockwise, get it in neutral, put the palm of your hand down, and push it the extra ½ inch. But the problem is to check this one first. Because every week I get a doctor sending me in 2 bad casts who went to college for 8 years. Foot doctors. I'm not even talking about chiropractors. Who somehow managed to be very busy. They know what they're doing, but they just don't look. So please, look at the first foot you cast. And if you see, try to correct your mistakes so that when you do the right one. So at this point, Mark's going to close the lid. Just push it over so the lid's between the legs so he can turn it again. I'm resting my foot now, and he's going to turn this box so it pivots on the heel. That's the secret of the rotating machine. And put me in neutral again. And he's also lining me up 90 degrees to the box. If
The
you have
leg
it,
right here is 90 degrees. The foot is gently placed on the foam, and we're just going to demonstrate one more time.
he's holding the knee 90 degrees, but usually he's in front. So now this time it changes. The index finger is on that navicular and talus joint. And as you can see, he's supinating me, he's pronating me, and now he's going to find subtalar neutral. And before you cast again, I would like you to demonstrate.
I'm just moving the box a few times this time, just so you can get a feel to see what you have to do in your office. It's so easy. As I'm rotating this way, the whole ankle comes up. As I rotate this way, the whole foot pronates. And what I'm looking for is right where that talus and navicular bone absolutely lock in place. It's right there. The foot's in a comfortable position.
Hold on
I'm
one
coming right
second.
over it again.
Let's ask the cameraman, and use that pen, please. Just put the edge of the pen underneath my first metatarsal so that the doctors can see and the public can see that when he zooms in, how high it is off the foam. Now the secret is Mark's going to push the foot down, keeping that same angle after he gets the heel down. That's better. Okay. Now again, there's a couple ways to check yourself out. And I took my cell phone out of my pocket, but if you even have a cell phone, you can put your cell phone down into the box, put your finger against it as a quick measurement, and see if this is high, all right? And you can see the varus coming uphill here. So now, if you think you didn't get the first metatarsal, that's the center, all the way down, again, Mark purposely left this off the ground because I told him to for the movie. He's going to come back right now, put the palm of his hand over all my metatarsals, and push that fifth down. So you can see, even if you make a mistake, now he's feeling for the fifth, and he's going to push it all the way to the ground. Push real hard, enough to knock my eyeballs out. See, patient isn't jumping, he's really pushing it down to the floor. You can't go any further than the floor, so why make a mistake?
And I'm over the fifth metatarsal, not the first.
He's basically bringing them down all level, but just so we can emphasize now, as you can see, this is the same depth. Here's another trick. If you make a little circle with your pen, and you come to the middle of the fifth, you have to find the middle of the fifth metatarsal head, the lowest point here. Those two holes would be the same. And over here, where my first metatarsal, remember I have 9 degrees of 4-foot varus, which is exceptionally high. Most patients have an average of 4. And I pushed the pen down here. It made a bigger hole, and it also showed you that that's how much it's off the bottom of the box. Where the fifth metatarsal is just, that's what is almost at the bottom, allowing for the thickness of the foam to crush, and the center of the heel. Also, look and see the lateral side is all the way down. So this is what we consider a good cast, and when you see the movies on the other, or casting on my platform, and you put this together with how I modified the cast, this is where we get all the hundreds of points of the angles of the forefoot, how high the arch is, how high it is over here. Is after we pour the cast, we would then put the cast completely back up in the air, which you saw in the other movie, and this first metatarsal would be off the ground, relating to how good Mark took the cast. In which a lot of labs don't care how you took the cast, because they're going to measure from the back of the heel to the fifth, they're going to measure from here to the first. They get pre-made shells that they buy 114 shapes, put a top on it, and send it to you. 3/4 of the labs that I know of with digitizers on the floor, they tell you they're taking 3D, and again, they're using pre-made shells where the computer is picking out a pre-made shape in the computer. Unless they have a real good system, and 20% of the labs do, where they can really see this cast in 3D.